If you're here for the food, please come back next time, because today we are going to talk about... Are you ready for this? No, it's not politics. It's phonetics. You see, I like figuring out how to teach stuff, and over the past few years I had a chance to learn a lot about teaching reading to help my children who were struggling with it. I've developed a somewhat unusual technique to help them with multisyllabic words, and I wanted to share it with other parents and teachers. YouTube seemed like the best way, so here we are. I don't know if you've noticed, but the schools teach only some of the rules of English phonetics, and most of the children will infer the other rules. For example, if you teach your kids that this word is musician and not musician, they'll automatically know that this word is delicious and not delicious. If this didn't magically happen for your kids, don't worry, it didn't magically happen for my kids either. Luckily, I found an amazing program on Amazon created by Kahn. I'll link to it below the video. Susan teaches way more rules of English phonetics than our public school does, and she manages to do it in a fun, engaging way. But I found that my kiddo often runs into working memory limitations when trying to sound out longer words. To help her, I've developed a technique that I call read from the back. In English phonetics, letters and whole syllables are often changed by what follows after them. Let's say we're trying to sound out this word. Facetious. Here, TI is not pronounced T, it's pronounced sh, because it's followed by a suffix. We also need to make a decision about how to read FACE. Is that face? And is that the root of the word? That's a lot to hold in working memory all at once. But what if we start from the back? Shus, we apply TICISI plus suffix rule here. That's a handful for some kids, and good to get that out of the way without holding the beginning of the word in working memory. Now we go to the next consonant from the back. We have C. Together we have facetious. Go to the next consonant from the back, facetious. Eventually it goes really fast. When my daughter sees a word she doesn't know, she gives it one shot front to back. If she didn't get it right, she quickly switches from back to front. Facetious, facetious. This also works great with short words that have a vowel-consonant-vowel structure in the middle of the word. Those words are very common in English and very tricky. Susan, David, donut, etc. Struggling readers have a hard time deciding whether to give the middle consonant to the first syllable or to the last. When we read from the back, we always go to the first available consonant that has a pronounceable vowel following it. So it's nut, donut versus done-ut. The last syllable is the boss. It makes decisions and gets the most consonants. You might be wondering how this applies to compound words like homework. Should I read work, me work, homie work? No. If you get a full word that has its own meaning, you stop. Put a mental space and continue reading the rest of the word as if it was separate. Here is another example. Facelift. In this word, the last syllable is a full word with meaning. Lift. We pretend that there is a space before it and read what's left as a standalone word. Face. In case of facetious, shus is not a word, so we continue adding syllables one at a time. Of course, this technique has to be applied in context, so I'll link to a few excellent resources below this video that deal with the root causes of reading difficulties. You might be wondering if I'm talking about dyslexia. Yes, I have a love-hate relationship with this term. The benefit of using the word dyslexia is that it's a succinct way to describe someone who's generally intellectually capable but has reading difficulties. The downside is that it lumps all the reading difficulties together, which is not the best way to deal with them. I get all sorts of responses when I tell people I'm dyslexic. The most common is, how can you be dyslexic? We talk about books all the time. It's true, dyslexics can read. Unfortunately, we read with the wrong part of the brain, which makes learning to read extremely difficult, and even after you learn to read correctly, you can't seem to learn to read quickly. The mainstream education establishment doesn't know what to do with us. But there is a lot of great help out there, so whichever part of the brain your child reads with, you can teach them to read well. And if you do it early enough, you can even slightly rewire their brain. So, if you know of any parents who are pulling their hair out because their kid just doesn't get reading, share this video. Maybe it can help.